In social studies, you will be taking notes. The actual process of taking notes is similar to the process of brainstorming and is something that we will talk more about and practice in class. This video is meant to show you what I want notes to look like, so make sure you keep a visual memory of what notes should look like, both in your Levenger notebook and Notability. Those are the two places in which all of your notes will be kept. So why take notes in the first place? Well, there are a number of really good reasons that don't really fit on this page, but these are definitely the top three. First of all, it is a way to keep track of what you are learning. There are a lot of topics to cover throughout the year, and I don't think you should remember all of them by heart. I think you should write them down. Writing it down in note form will help you to remember things. Also, the process of just writing goes a long way towards helping you remember and learn the information. Because you can always go back and refer to your notes, they are invaluable to you when it comes to brainstorming your ideas and info for your projects and writing assignments. Your notes are where all your facts and learned information should be. If you don't have your notes for brainstorming, it becomes a lot harder. You have to reread whole chapters, rewatch videos, call friends, etc. So by taking notes, you're actually doing yourself a favor. And finally, no matter what job you get, you will be in a situation where taking notes are necessary. You may think I'm making this up, but seriously, ask any adult from any job, from baker to CEO, they will tell you about the importance of taking notes. This is the time when you start building good and bad learning habits. Note-taking is one of the good ones. Notes can look many different ways, and each teacher and each person has his or her own method. This is mine, and I expect you to learn it. All your notes should look this way, but don't worry, I'll walk you through each step very carefully. You can always come back and review this if you are confused. This is a piece of your notebook paper. For now, it is blank, but we are going to change that. All new notes start on a fresh sheet of paper. It keeps things organized. One topic, one page. You should also make sure that you're in the correct subject for your Levenger notebook. As you can notice here, bloop, we are in the social studies section, so I'm right on place. Every single page must be labeled properly. A properly labeled note page begins with two things: the title, there you go, right there, the title of the page, and the date that you began taking notes. Both of these things are non-negotiable, as they are important organizational tools. You should always label what you are taking notes about and when you did it. That way, even if it falls out of your notebook, this page that is, you can get it in the right place and know the content of the page at a glance. The title goes here, obviously, and the date goes here. Pretty straightforward stuff. Now we're ready to take notes, and notes go from most general to more specific. For example, animals, that's general, and specific would be a three-toed sloth. So we're going to go from big picture to little picture. That's the order that notes go in. Let's see what this looks like on paper. Here we have a general outline of notes. We start with Roman numerals to cover the main topics. Under that, using capital letters, we have our categories of the main topic. Then Arabic numerals for the details. For the example of the category, and little letters, lowercase letters, for the details of a piece. As you can see, the main topic is more general than the categories, which is more general than the example, and so on. Notice how each layer gets indented. Do you see that? The more specific it is. But Mr. Fleischer, you're thinking, this is all well and good, but I'm more of a visual learner, and I need to see an example of this if I'm going to really get it. Ha! Well, today is your lucky day. Here's an actual example of notes that you will be taking. As you can see, I have filled in this example using one of the ancient hominids we will be studying. The main topics of these notes is Australopithecus afarensis, also known as Lucy. I have two categories that I'm interested in here. One is ape-like traits and human-like traits. And as you notice, there's at least one example for each category and a detail for each example. There are a few things I'd like you to notice. First of all, please look at how each part of the notes are indented. I start main topic, then my categories are indented, my examples and details, they all follow this indentation theme. Also notice that since these are notes, they do not have to be in complete sentences, although it does help if you do. Try not to cut corners and write cryptically. Your notes should be clear enough that you can come back to them so they can help you in your writing assignments. Please note here that my writing is really big, and I did that so you could read it easier. It's not important to write huge on your notes like this. One line at a time is fine, or two if it makes it a little easier for you, but no more than that, please. You don't want to write so big that you can't fit all your thoughts on the same page. Notes look pretty similar in notability too. Here's an abridged version of the notes from the previous page. All the indentations are exactly the same. The only problem here is because that it is a sans serif font, Gill Sans specifically here, the Roman numeral 1, or I, and the Arabic numeral 1 look exactly the same. You can ignore this or switch to a font with serifs. Those are the little things that dangle off the top and bottoms of letters like I. Like Times New Roman, if that bothers you. Indenting on computers is a little more complicated than on a written page, but if you notice these arrows over here, right there, these arrows on the top left of the keyboard are like the tab buttons on your keyboard. They indent for you. One indent per next level of notes is all that's needed, and that's how your notes should look. Now that we're all on the same page about how your notes should look, taking them is quite a breeze. So we'll practice that in class, and I'll see you guys soon.